Hey everybody, it's Christina of CraftyPaws. I'm here to share this really cute kitty lovers card that I've made with indigo blue stamps called Kevin's Gang. And I think these whimsical little cats are so stinking cute. They're available at Topflight Stamps, where I am a designer. And first I'm gonna do a little card front, and I'm gonna make these little heart windows for the kitties to pop out of. And for these little heart windows, I'm using Diemond dies, inside and out stitched hearts die set. I'm using the two smaller hearts, and I'm die cutting this off of some gray pattern paper that's from an old DCWV stack called Alphabet Stack. And that whole stack is all in grays, and I just wanted kind of a neutral but patterned card front. And now for the card base, I'm blending on some Tim Holtz Distress ink so that these heart windows will have a background of this kind of ombre pink. I'm using a picked raspberry for the biggest heart on the right, and I'm just laying out that card front so I know how much further I need to go. I don't know if you caught it, but at the very beginning, I had marked the area generally with light little marks, pencil marks. And for the lower left and the upper left, I am going to be using sponge sugar to blend on some color. I wanted this kind of ombre look, a little bit feminine, and still have kind of a poppy color. And you'll notice that I put in a scrap piece of paper onto the left side of that card base, and that's so that I get that crisp, clean back for the back of the card. And now I'm erasing those little pencil marks that I had put before. And this is the adorable stamp set. These cats are so stinking cute. They're so whimsical. They're very cartoony, not realistic. And I just think they're so fun and cute. I'm going to be stamping this out on a little scrap of cardstock. The cardstock that I almost always use is from Georgia Pacific. It's a premium cardstock that I get at Walmart for very little money. I think it's like $5 or $6 for a huge package. I'm also going to stamp out this little kitty, which I also think is so adorable. I love its little smiling eyes. Now I'm just going to fussy cut this right out. I'm not going to do like a lot of Copic coloring or anything. I just wanted these cute little kitty images to stand on their own. And I'm going to fussy cut this out using my favorite spring-loaded scissors. These are the Fiskars scissors. And I'm just going right up against the line, and the edge of the paper I'm going to be inking with a Memento Tuxedo black marker. I've decided I'm going to add just a teeny bit of color. I'm using that RV52, which is like a pinky color, and I think that just for the inside of the ears, that'll help the kitties coordinate with the background hearts. And here is where you see me inking the edges of that kitty so you don't see that white edge of the cardstock. Now I'm going to use a Sakura glaze pen. This is a black pen that is a little heavier than like a gel pen. It's got a really nice shine. The ink flows pretty fast, so you have to work pretty quickly, or you might want to not just go all the way up to the edge just because the ink flows so fast. And now I'm just coloring up some of the dots on this spotted kitty. I'm going to outline the circles that are not fully colored in black in the stamp image. For this little kitty, I love the cat eyes. And for this one, he has a cute little heart nose, which I think is adorable. I decide I'm going to actually color in those little stripes or triangles, I guess, on that kitty. And I've also colored in the furry one. Here you see me cutting off the tail of this cat, and that's because I wanted the tail to show a little bit more within the opening of that large heart window. So I'm just going to glue the very bottom of this kitty to the card front just behind so that it's kind of peeking out, popping up through the heart window that I've die cut out here. What I really like, by the way, about these heart dies is that the stitching is both on the inside of the heart, the die cut, as well as the outside. So if you look closely here, you can see the stitching on the frames, these heart frames that I've die cut into this card front. And there you see me just gluing the tail separately, just so that more of the tail would show up from that kitty. And for this little furry kitty at the bottom, I'm gonna try and position it also so that it peeks in, like pops in from the left of the heart. I want to make sure that it still looks like a heart though, so I didn't want to cover up too much of that shape of the heart. The upper left as well, I'm going to glue that little kitty in so it's popping in kind of almost straight up and down, because I have the lower kitty pointed to the left, I have the upper kitty or the middle kitty pointed to the right, and so that top kitty is pointing up and down. And now I'm going to cut off the excess. That's the part that of these kitties that hang off of the card front edge. And it's a little precarious here. I just want to make sure that the top and bottom of the card front are lined up with my guillotine cutter, paper trimmer. And there it looks really like it's got a good spacing of those little heart windows with their kitties. Now I'm going to take this black cardstock and I've prepped it with my EK Success powder tool, and that's to prevent the embossing powder I'm planning on using for the sentiment from sticking in extra areas. That prevents the static from forming there. And I'm using Versamark ink, and I'm stamping out the sentiment, and now I'm using super fine embossing powder that's white. It's from Ranger, and I found that this really gives the cleanest, crispest sentiment stamping, which I think is really important, especially when the sentiment has such tiny font. And even after I use that embossing powder tool, I've still found some stray little flecks of that embossing powder. So I'm taking a dry paintbrush and I'm just flicking off that excess little powders. And I'm just taking my time before I actually heat set everything and have that embossing powder melt fully. And that's the sentiment. I actually off camera stamp it out a second time because I decide I want to have the sentiment split up. I'm now next gonna put double-sided foam adhesive. This is relatively thin, which is great for cards that you're gonna be sending through the mail because it doesn't add too much bulk. This is double-sided foam adhesive that I've gotten at the Dollar Tree. And I found it's great to work on giving good support all the way around like a card front, like I'm using it here. And I'm just using my bone folder and my scoreboard to finally fold that card base. And I'm going to take all of the release paper off of this double-sided foam adhesive, and I'm going to be very careful and gingerly place that on my card front so that I don't have any, edges hanging off of that card base. And I think I just got it in place, which is important in this particular case because I have that blended ink behind those heart openings. And this is the top part of the sentiment. It says, "Dogs come when they're called." And then for the inside part, I am prepping the inside liner sheet. I'm using some plain black cardstock for the base, and then I'm going to use another scrap of that patterned gray paper. And I'm going to put it askew just for a little whimsy. And I'm adding just a teeny bit of that double-sided foam adhesive just to the tail part of this kitty in repose, which I thought was perfect. This is another cat from that stamp set, Kevin's Gang. And I'm plopping that one on top of the remainder of the sentiment, which says, "Cats take a message and get back to you." And I think that that is so true. Cats have this spirited independence, which as a dog owner, I can admire from afar. And that's my card there. I decided I'm gonna add a little bit more detail. I'm just gonna go around that black area. I thought it looked a little bit too heavy and I wanted it to coordinate a little bit better. So I'm taking a Uniball Signo white gel pen and I'm just making some dash lines. So I'm adding some faux stitching to that black mat, as it were, on the inside of this card. And that's something that I strive to do more and more, is not just focus on the card front, but also try to make the card inside, the inside liner area, kind of match and coordinate. And this one in particular, I thought this would be fun, dividing up that sentiment that way. I hope you've enjoyed this process video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget, if you're interested in this adorable indigo blue Kevin's Gang stamp set, check out Topflight Stamps. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a wonderful crafty day.